Welcome back. We want to just thank you for joining us. Some amazing worship going on in the auditorium. We want to thank you for joining us and coming back. We got Pastor Ernie in the studio with us, and Marilyn. Pastor Bernie.
No, Pernie.
So
Yeah.
we're excited to have you guys back in. We want to go in deeper section. We want to talk just a little bit about Ernie, some amazing stuff there. We want to dig into just a little bit further. The first thing I wanted to dig into, one of the folks that I had a chance to talk to online during that service had just mentioned that their family was going through so much this year with with a lot of death, and even feeling like maybe questioning, and maybe you guys have gone through this in times, like, why is all this bad stuff happening to me? Why does God actually hate me? Does he hate my family?
Mm-hmm.
Does he hate me? And why did I experience this? So we had a great prayer time of just kind of, explaining that God is for us. And so, Marilyn, when you think about that, you have gone through hard times, how do you dig in? How do you... Because we want to get to the point where we want to share the good news, right? But we may be talking to people. We are talking to people right now who are just dealing with it.
Yeah. I think all of that suffering, like, God's going to use it for something in the future. Yeah. And so, like, when we go through that, we're able to help the ones that are suffering because we've suffered too. So it's always good to, like, remember those things, not like, man, my past sucked. I hate everything about it. It's like, no, like, God let you go through those things so that you can use it for His glory. Like, it's a hard thing to think about, but
yeah. When you think about, for some people out there, they may be thinking it's hard to even trust. Before I can get to sharing this good news, it's hard to even trust that Jesus' sacrifice is even enough. You touched on it. Isn't that how? I mean, that's so important that I have to trust. Before I can share, I got to believe it like a good movie, right? We talked about that. Yeah. You got to believe it. You got to want to share it with everybody. So why do you think that can be just so difficult sometimes?
Well, no, first of all, in answer to your first question as well, there's a human race that Christ died for.
Amen.
All right? There's a human race, all right, that is dealing with the outcome of a choice that broke the whole planet, and that was the choice to push ourselves away from God from the very beginning. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And right now we're like, well, I'm not pushing my way away from God. This is not like do better, get better kind of thing. There's sin has blanketed the world and is broken the world. Christ is the only one who brings healing in the world and to the world. Mm-hmm. And in my suffering, because we go through it. Our family, we've gone through some stuff, and we're going through some stuff. That's just crazy. Yeah. We're not exempt from the problem that sin created in the world. But the trust that we have is that this is not all there is. And even in this, even in the middle of this, I do have Him. Mm-hmm. I have the one who hasn't left me. I have the one who hasn't, just disowned me or whatever. Mm-hmm. I have the one that is always faithful and true to what He said He would do and has done. Yeah. And so I have that trust and I have that hope that leads me forward. There's going to be good, and there's going to be bad, and then there's going to be worse. All right. What I try to do is make sure that those times that I know that are amazing, I hold on to those and recognize that that the bad and the worst is not all there is to life.
Mm-hmm. And that He's there the whole time.
That He's there the whole time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Not just there, but for those of us who have accepted Jesus, He's in us. Yeah. Like and God, that Jesus is with you. If you're living a life for Christ, He's with you. He's in you, and He feels what you feel as you're going through these things. I think is so important for me to grab onto sometimes. So, you talked, Ernie, about 85% of people, really 85% of people are not sharing the gospel.
Yeah, that's the new statistic that actually has been.
Did you take a poll at Safeway or something?
I did. I was asking people. I had somebody else. Debbie was there writing down. Okay, got 85% of these people ain't doing nothing about this. All right, so yeah.
Did that stat surprise you?
Yeah, that's kind of scary. It's sad, actually. It's really sad because you think of all the people we could be reaching. Me and my husband, we were, watching church, and I was kind of like, it's such a hard statistic too, because who knows what kind of interaction you'll have with people that might affect them to eventually, but you'll just never know. Yeah. But still, it's still a really sad thing to think of. Like, we definitely need to do better and be better.
Yeah. Well, step it up this week. You know,
I'll try.
Yeah, get right on that.
that was the message.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, you know
Yeah,
why?
the cool thing is we could change that.
Yeah, let's
I
do
mean,
it.
we're not stuck with
No.
that statistic.
No.
Yeah.
We could change it. We could turn it around.
Yeah, and we could even here in the White Mountains, or if you're watching on there, we could change it in our world. Where we're
I believe we already are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially right here. That's why I share
Well,
with these guys.
when you talk about, I love our producer's going to throw up a graph for you, but InterVarsity has this this really cool presentation of thresholds that people go through to get to belief. You know, the first one, Ernie, I think is so interesting is that first threshold is knowing a trusting Christian. You know, so many times we want to share the gospel. We want people just to jump into, you know, salvation, and certainly God can do that. But I got to ask you guys out there, are you being a trusting Christian to somebody? You know, is that who you're being? Or have you known somebody who is a trusting Christian that kind of led you through these different thresholds from trust to curiosity to being open to something new, to searching, and then eventually to following? You know, Ernie, what do you think are why is it so hard to share the gospel sometimes? Because we're talking to people right now who are saying, yeah, you're a pastor, you do this professionally.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I'm a
Which
real
is
pro.
funny.
I'm a real pro. Yeah.
But why is it so hard? Or
Yeah.
how do I overcome it?
I think that I share with us a little bit in the sermon that I challenge people. Are you a Christian that has no idea what it means or what it looks like to be a follower? Mm-hmm. Are you a believer who doesn't know what it means to be a follower? And I think that's a question that we really need to challenge. You know, are you truly, because I followed it up with another question, and that is, you know, are you devoted to a person or are you devoted to just the cause?
Yeah.
You know, so we could turn a cause off.
Yeah.
See, I can't turn a person off. I'm devoted to my wife, and I can't just turn that off.
Right.
All right. That's devotion that's going
Don't
to
try it.
lead.
It's not a good
Yeah,
idea.
it's not a good idea. That's devotion that's going to lead my life and is going to prepare me for what's, for every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's a question. I think there's just a lot of Christians who are just believers, but they don't know what it means to be a follower and be devoted to the person that they're following.
Yeah. Well, Marilyn, one of the things that we want to challenge people, we have just a little bit of time here left, is maybe in your groups where you're at right now or with your family, practice sharing the gospel. You know, share
cool.
your story. So as a take home for you this week, that'll be it. Is give it a shot. You know, try it. Share it with your wife or your kids, or really work on what you would say, what you want to say to somebody else in your groups right now. That's your take home. So we want to thank you guys for joining us. If you want to give to the vision and mission of the church, you can do that super easy by going to tcaz.us/give. We want to thank you so much for your generosity, and share this message with somebody that you know to be meaningful, and that maybe will open up an opportunity for you to share. So that's going to be it for us. Thanks for joining us.
Peace.